that I'm not instantly drawn to, like electro swing, is that I do get to try whenever a new channel pops up and be like, all right, what does funk sound like? What does R&B sound like? Like these stations, not just in general. What's upbeat dance sound like? Apparently upbeat dance is the best trombone champ song. This is very silly. No, I'm not playing Trombone Champ on stream today. Hi, Italian. There's a video of this song of someone playing on Trombone Champ, and it is the funniest thing. Oh, there it is. There's Salt Fake City and dicking around town. I thought they were up here, and I was like, no, they can't be up here. This is Sodor Golm territory. That's right. It's in this little peninsula thing. Is it a peninsula? If this is like a gulf. Well, no, because that's Florida. Florida's one side. Florida's a peninsula, and it has a gulf on the west coast. So, I guess that would be a peninsula. How you doing today, Italian? Is this music too loud? Or is it a good volume? Got your glasses. Say I don't need you, but I do need my glasses. Hey, Deeps. Nope on music level being too loud. Still wish I could retire you. I wish that I had a sound enough career that I felt like I deserved retirement. I still freaking chug away like a weirdo who's feels like they have not accomplished enough to deserve that. So good on you for doing that much. Music is not too loud. Cool. Where I'm like, no, retire. I don't deserve to retire. I haven't done enough yet. I'm still this unsuccessful nobody. I must make my mark in the world. I feel that work shouldn't be required to have to exist in the first place, so retirement isn't something that should have to be earned. It's a very non-capitalistic way to think there, Deebs. How dare. Work is how you know your worth. That's why they share so many letters. It seems like a suspicious concept. Everybody deserves rest. I want to agree with you in theory. Like, there's a lot of unlearning to get to that mindset. But ultimately, yes. Work. Yeah, like, it shouldn't be a requirement of existence. Like, oh, I want to have things. Oh, you have to, do something to earn them. Okay, like, that makes sense. But to be like, you're just gonna, like, die in the street if you don't do this exact thing. Like, that's real garbage. They do share a lot of letters. I gotta rethink my life. Yep, I'm just here to help. I'm not feeling this. This is not funky to me. Oh, this is upbeat dance. That's why. Not feeling upbeat dance. I might have to go back to lo-fi. I'm just not... God, Electra's swing really spoiled me. It was so good. Just back to lo-fi. I do really like lo-fi. That lo-fi Lord of the Rings I shared the other day. I listened to that again last night, sleeping. God, it's so good. Electra swing was good shit. Yeah, it was. I don't have a problem with working in general, but boy, I wish I could work less and not that means I'm now homeless. Yeah, like the scale of amount of work. My bomb fell over. Also, look at this bomb. My brother-in-law got that for me. The amount of work that you need in order to just sustain. And like, oh, I want to do a neat thing. Not even an expensive thing, just a neat thing on my time off. That is, yeah, completely borked as far as ratio of work to relax. Because the 1% are taking the money. It's like that meme where it's like 3 people sitting at a table and there's like one person with just stacks of cookies in front of them, and there's a person next to them who has 1 cookie, and there's a person next to that person who has no cookies, and the person with no cookies is like putting their finger on the table, like trying to get up crumbs, and the person with 1 cookie looks over at the person with no cookies, and then the person with all the cookies takes the cookie of the person with the 1 cookie, and then the person with the 1 cookie looks at them, and the person with all the cookies points to the person with no cookies, and then the person who used to have 1 cookie then attacks the person who has no cookies, because the person with all the cookies told them that's who stole your cookie. That's our economy, essentially. I gotta find that. Hang on. It's easier to just find it, probably. Yeah, this is it. All right, hang on. There we go. Economy explained in cookies. Yeah, for a system where universal income so that you can strive without work or survive without working, but if you want more than the baseline, you can choose to work. Absolutely. Like, that seems like a way better way to do it. And also health caps. Maybe that's a hot take, but like, come on. There's got to be an upper limit. I was listening to Lo-Fi Lord of the Rings earlier. It's nice. It's so nice. It's really good. Yesterday, I had 2 hours of free time out of 24 hours work schedules. Made me sad. Dang, that is rough. Hey, Crawdad, how's it going? How's your day? What was I thinking? I had a thing. I don't remember. Well, I lost my train of thought already. It's one of them days. All right. But good afternoon to you, Crawdad. Yeah, like a universal income sounds pretty cool, where you are able to sustain yourself. And like studies that have gone over universal income, like have shown that people still work. Like, it's not like, oh, people are given a free thing and then they're like, oh, it'll never work again. But they're able to do more with their time and, like, have a better quality of life because they're not struggling. It's like, shoot, there was another study. I forget what it was. Oh, yeah, the 4-day work week. Like, it's shown that if you work 4 days a week as opposed to 5 days a week, your production quality goes up. Like, you are better at your job having more time off. What a shocker. I remember in the year of 1,000 Democrats, Andrew Yang was running on a platform that included universal. Oh, yeah, that was the 2015-2016 election cycle. There were so many people running. Rip Bernie. Didn't make it. The one I wanted. Crawdad says, pretty good. Doing more technical stuff at work. Ooh, so happy to think about something different. Oh, well, then I won't ask you about technical stuff at work. I will ask you about how we're going to make a boring, not a boring town, but a normal town interesting. I was at the gym this morning and I was writing down some notes. So I'm going to go over and we're going to do this like one-page lore style, but we're going to do bullet points. And I have a few things. So if you want to start getting those creative juices going, I don't know why I tapped my headphones. It's more of a head thing, but you know, head's behind here. So it sounds weird. Also, I'm trying to figure out, it's going to be in Sotorgom's territory. Like, here's the capital, and Sotorgom owns, like, all this whole peninsula here. And so I'm thinking this place, this is also for, so you know, this is going to be where my new campaign that I'm running for people is going to start. So one of the things that I want to do with it is, for all the wild ass stuff that we do, I wanted to create a place that was a bit more normal, to kind of let them get grounded in all the other weird stuff and like all that. So it's like not everything is wild off the bat. So I wanted to make a place that was a bit more interesting, but still, or a bit more normal, but still had all the potential and all of the fun of those wild places that we've made. But it's not made out of mud or whatever. Oh yeah, most people still work. People are just less likely to settle for garbage jobs because they don't need a job to be able to survive. Exactly. It does require, dare I say, perhaps fair treatment and maybe even competition from those who are providing the jobs. Providing is the wrong word. For those who are, I guess who are employers. It's like, oh, you treat your employees like crap. They won't hold on to the job because they will lose their home if they leave. They can be like, oh, this other place, yeah, you're crap. I quit. Cool, I found another job. I'll work there. And now you, as shitty business, have people constantly leaving. And now you're doing terrible business because everybody's leaving. And they're going to other places that treat them better. And then those places are getting the work. Wow. It's almost like the system is working exactly as intended. And the intention is to screw over workers. It's you know, it's almost like that. Almost. Wink. It is. That's exactly what it's made to do. The goal is to fuck everyone over that's in a position that's beneath you and above you. Mostly beneath you, though. It's harder to screw over the people above you, but, like, people still do it. How to make cities interesting. Have players encounter a heated labor dispute. Yeah. Love a labor dispute. That's good stuff. Can y'all hear me just fine if I move the microphone to the side and point it at me? I feel like I'll pop less if I do it like this. But I want to make sure that the thing is... Also, you can see my antisocial butterfly shirt. I love fake anime shirts. They're the best. There it is. I've showed it off before. I don't care. I'll show it off every time I wear it. On the subject of fashion, I bought very short shorts. And hopefully I hope it's hot enough to wear them Saturday. Very excited. Get some leg tan. High Fantasy is having the option to fix economic systems as a random part of heavily armored goofs. Yeah. Okay, so here are some of the baselines that I want to do for this. If this is the mic position you were asking about, then yeah, that sounds fine. All right, cool. Just want to make sure. I usually have it like directly, but then that's where all the like noises get hit. So now I can this way and it won't be hopefully as ear shattering. All right, so first thing, how to make a normal town interesting. Here are my thoughts, and I want to hear your thoughts too. But honestly, the biggest thing is the people. Like, I've lived in country-ass Ohio. I've lived in country-ass North Carolina. I've lived in cities. I've been all over. Like, people make a place cool. Yeah, you could go visit a place and be like, DC has nice museums. And, like, New York has... I'm just kidding. New York doesn't have anything. Jersey has good pizza. You know, like, there are things you can do there that are interesting. But, like, what really makes a place feel good is the people. And if you make the people cool, like, you know people, I know people in this area, so of course I want to go to that area so I can visit them, and then there'll be something to do there. But the main draw is the people. So I feel like it is very important in this sort of thing that we nail down what makes the people interesting. And I have some notes on that for, like, some back and forth of things, but, like, that's a big thing. Let me catch up on stream. Or on chat. Crawdad says a, quote, boring town could have something in it that brings different people, like a religious shrine or a cottage industry, a hot spring, etc. That's awesome. I actually really like that idea. Something that brings different people in. I love that idea. Yeah, that's a really good... just stepped out of their house and then went, uh-oh, forgot something, and went right back in. I have a window right here. Yeah, that's a really cool idea, where you have a thing that, yeah, where it could be more touristy, or it could be like landmarky, or it could be like businessy. I really like the idea of the shrine. And I don't know, hot springs. Hot springs are always just a good thing, I think. I think that's fun. You know, and we've got to figure out where to put this in this peninsula right here, because this is where it's going to go. It's going to be one of these unlabeled towns. This lake could make it a hot spring, and then we could make it this one right here. Deeb says, in terms of making cities interesting without having them having some sort of weird / unique feature, I think it's more about filling it with interesting NPCs than doing anything in the city itself. 100% agree. We're going to actually add a sub point to the people, because I agree. Yeah, interesting reoccurring NPCs are the shit. Yeah, they're pretty great. It's up, little Lionhead. Have you ever been to a hot spring? No, I have not. It seems like such a cool thing. It's just a big outdoor hot tub made by Mother Nature and stuff. It's a terrible description. It seems like fun. I like weird outdoor things like that, and especially things that are like more community based. Like a private thing isn't as interesting to me as a person as a public thing. So like if it's a big hot spring and there's like a bunch of people and it's like, cool, that sounds more fun than like it's like, oh, here's a, well, those are fun too if it was like private hot spring. Like, all right, that's cool, but like it's like I'm more interested in a hostel, whereas like a community kitchen and like a bunch of people there, than like, you know, getting a hotel room where it's just me. I might not be feeling social and ignore everybody, but I still generally prefer a like public thing. That's really good for being able to have something new to keep things fresh. The players return, yeah. Totes. Agree. A big outdoor hot tub that smells bad and is full of screaming kids. Oh no. Alright, well, maybe without the smelling bad, I could probably dig with that. Outdoors sometimes smell bad. That's just part of nature. Screaming kids, though, that's unnatural. My crush for reoccurring NPCs is normal towns or shopkeepers and bartenders. But that's good. Like, those are things that, you know, you have to do. You have to deal with your NPCs in a way that the characters are going to interact. You could be like, I have the most interesting pottery guild master. Oh man, there's a whole family tree drama. There's all this stuff, and it's like, but when are the players going to like hang out? Where are they signing up to be part of the pottery guild? Probably not. Are they gonna go to the pottery guild for some reason? No. Are they buying pottery for the house? Probably not. Like, you could make a thing, but if it's something your character's never gonna interact with, it's kind of a waste in a lot of ways. It might be just you fleshing out the world and you're having fun with it, and that's awesome. Do that. But like, if you're trying to make someone that they'll interact with, part of it is going, well, who are they going to interact with? Now, maybe the guild master of pottery of your town also knows about chronomancy or something, and they gotta find someone to talk to about that, and then they can go and like learn about it that way, and now they have a person that they can talk to about pottery and time travel, which is a part of your story or whatever. So things like that can work. How far is my headroom? Oh, my headroom's way up there. Okay. It's like sulfur. Ooh. Hot springs look so glamorous in media. In real life, they are public pools that probably aren't chlorinated. I love public pools, though. Public pools are great. I'm low class. It's how I operate as a trashy human. So that's a feature, not a bug for me. There's also a version where they pipe in springs into bathhouses with individual tubs and tell tourists that it heals practically everything. Yeah. Does it not? That fresh spring water. You just freaking dump that on you and you're good. Well, now you've just invented the Pottery Bandit questline. There you go. And that's why it's fun to plan. Gotta have some interesting events that can happen and use that hook to get players into interacting with the NPCs and give them a goal. Absolutely. Okay, so do not tell my players, because it's going to be a few weeks before they get to this spot. But the thing that I really want them, I hope none of them are watching, which is a weird thing to say when you're doing something that needs an audience, but one of the things I want to do about this place is that it's in the control of Sodor Golem, which is a kingdom. And so they own this whole peninsula and they run all the towns, but the major cities. this place, which I wrote down as Vline, but I'm fine with any other name. I haven't decided on the name yet. Is that the person who runs it is a member of the royal family who is very much like wants to disrupt power, like doesn't think the royal family should run this place, does think it should be like democratically elected officials. Like there's a lot of guilds and stuff that he gave a lot of power to for them, and like is an overseer mostly by title, and has been trying to like give people more and more and more power within the city. So like there's a lot of things about it that make it less of a place run by a kingdom and more of a self-governed place. And then the thing that's going to happen is that ruler is going to be assassinated, while the party is of course right there with him. Who's going to get blamed for the assassination? The party's going to get blamed. So a big part of the overarching story, along with other things, is like them trying to figure out who actually killed this guy. And then like the power struggle of like the next in line from Sotorgom coming in and trying to revoke power from people and from the guilds and everything that this guy gave them to. So, on the subject of interesting things that can happen, I'm gonna try and do that. So if the players want to engage with that more, they can. But it's also definitely gonna be like a big, power struggle there. Whether they're interacting with it or not, it's something I can use as a background element. If I need, a sudden shift. Hey, Besmirch, good afternoon to you too. My only experience with Hot Springs was created by Yellowstone supervolcano, not very glamorous. Oh, yeah, I'm probably privileged. It's all right. Are they all, this is a dumb question, are all hot springs heated by volcanic sources? I guess I don't know if that's the right word to say that. Like, are there hot springs? Because I'm curious, because if it's volcanic, then I could definitely understand the sulfur smell. If it's like, oh, this is something else that heats the water naturally. Okay, so they are all volcanic. Explains the smell. Sounds like a lot of potential for guild-affiliated NPCs, maybe some lesser politicians, that sort of thing. Exactly. And I wanted to do... I have notes in here of like... All right, I wanted to have another thing. Oh, hang on. Before I get off on that is... contrasts. I think contrasts help make a place more interesting. So in this particular place, I have the king of the area of, we're going to keep calling it Vline, but if anyone has a better name, I'm here for listening. So the king of Vline is giving more power to people, individuals and groups, and trying to make it so they can rule their own city, all of Vline. Now, some people trying to put that on a spectrum where it's like, okay, well, there are some people who are like, yes, we like the king, we like what he's doing, and we want the power. And then there's the other side. Oh, wait, my hand can't go farther than this. The other side being like, we hate the king. We think that's a dumb decision, and my chucklefuck neighbor shouldn't have the right to like make decisions. We need a strong authoritative hand to be like, this is how it is, and then it benefits us and we win. These other people are stupid. So those are like the two big ends. And then having like mixes within that. So there are people who hate the king, who are like, he's a monarch, smash the patriarchy. Sorry, the monarchy, also the patriarchy. But they like that he's giving people power. He's just, not moving fast enough or not doing enough. Or there are people who like the king, but don't like that he's giving the people power. Because they're like, oh yeah, he's like the prime example of one of the good ones. This is why we should have kings, because look at how good he is. If we just had more kings like this, we wouldn't have problems. And also, my chucklefuck neighbor shouldn't be able to vote. That's stupid. So like trying to have like different pieces of that. So it's like if when they meet NPCs and they can, you know, kind of learn about the world and talk to people and try and figure out stuff like that, there's all sorts of places within that where people fall. Try and make it feel a bit more real too. I don't know if any of that made sense. I'm familiar with the one hot springs. Arkansas? Arkansas has hot springs? I'm sorry, hang on. Arkansas has hot springs? Arkansas hot springs? Hot springs. Arkansas National Park. On hotsprings.com. .org. Arkansas National Park has hotsprings.org? Hang on. Not even like Arkansas hotsprings.org. Just hotsprings.org takes you to this. What? I have a water park. Are they natural or are they man-made? I want to learn about your hot springs. Meetings, conventions, explore more. Just, where's hot springs? Spas and baths? Majestic Park. They are natural? That's awesome. Okay, let's... Hang on. If I go to like Wikipedia, Hot Springs, Arkansas. Okay, but that's... I want to see what, look what it said, thermal water? Oh, shoot. Okay, hang on, let me go back. Where did it say thermal water? Oh, thermal water. There must be something in the water. The thermal water in hot springs is 4,000 years old. Wow. Originating as a rainfall during some era. The same era as the Great Pyramids were built. This world-famous water makes a 4,000 plus year journey through the earth and runs freely into an incredible unique destination named for the thermal hot springs. Hot Springs National Park is a curious town. Hot Springs National Park is a town? Okay. With wild and widely celebrated history, an array of experiences that you just won't find anywhere else. Soak it up. Drink it up. Oh, no. Don't drink the hot springs. Can you drink it? That's that. Oh, no. Down. I hope they filter it. I'm only for the... Oh, okay. If there's skullduggery going on in this small town, it could be because powerful people gather there for a holy day. If it has an important shrine, vacation there, hot springs. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I do like people of the same religion who don't like each other but show up to the same event because it's their religious event. That's a tasty encounter. It's a small state. It follows its own rules. Oh my gosh, this is a terrifying picture. Oh my gosh. That's scary. This is... I feel like if these guys weren't here, it wouldn't be as scary. Like, there's these dudes in body bags, which is like, all right. And then there's these dudes, like, kind of trapped in these tanks. And it's like, okay, I could see both of these being, like, for relaxation. Who are these guys? Just standing there, looming. That's what makes me uncomfortable with this. Hey, Discordia. How are you doing? Okay, well, I'm going to learn more about this later. Because that's pretty rad. What are we saying? Religious shrine, hot springs, etc. Alright, contrast. That was a thing. Oh, another thing. This is similar to people, but I feel like it's its own thing. Connections. What is it that the players know about this place? Like, oh, I have a sibling who moved here. My parents retired here. I have a business partner that's from here. Whatever. Making chicken wraps. Nice. Just rolling up some chickens. A signature cuisine. Ooh, I do love food. Hey, Samby. Sambai. Hi, Sambai. How are you? What brings you here? If you're real. I question this. Hey! Oh man, that's like 50% of the, was it the Turing test? Where you prove you're not a robot? I'm real, I think so anyway. I don't know, that hesitation. If it's a fishing port, well, we are one of these two places. I'm leaning towards this one, but it could be either. So we are going to be both by the ocean and a river and lake. So fishing port is definitely here, which means seafood soup with imported spices, which come via ship. So it could. We could very well make it. I'm liking this song. Sorry. Yeah. Seaport fishing is good. I like the idea of seafood soup. That's just, you just take a ladle and like scoop part of the ocean, and it's just like salt water with a live crab and fish in it, and it's like, yep, this must seafood soup. Italian, I don't know, adventurers with parents who retired rather than dying tragically. It's a little implausible there, Jesse. Oh, I guess you're right. I love having making backstories where well, normally my favorite backstories are one where like parents aren't necessarily like ever there, or like you have something weird like a grinder bin where it's like, oh, Dakaria, they have memories of like hundreds of other Dakaria that are their parents, even though they've never met them, and they're like, you know, probably dead or long dead before they even finish gestating and become people. Or like golems, where it's like, you know, you have someone that made you, like Gargles on Bile is like, oh hey, this is but the wizard who gave me sapience is a real dick, and he died, and I didn't know what to do. It's like, I enjoy those, but when I do have a character that actually has family, I like keeping them alive and like having them be like perfectly functional, happy people, just to play against trope. Found your content recently on YouTube. Oh, and then the world building stuff is stuff I actually struggle with. Hey, well, we're going over some stuff. If you have any direct questions, Sambai, also you can tell me how to pronounce your name, feel free to ask. This is just kind of a free-form stuff. I usually come here with a topic, such as what the title says, but I am open to answering questions with stuff that people are wondering about, or have questions about, or struggling with in the moment. So if we gotta shift gears, we shift gears. I'm ADD, it doesn't matter to me. Sorry if it's annoying for anybody else, but sorry. That's just life. But yeah, Italian, I love having living, functional, like, part of the world parents for characters. I think it's really fun. Also, it's a good thing for the GM. Like, the GM has a good in if they ever want to bother you with something. My name normally rhymes with B, but I'm also bi, so it works for me either way. All right, cool. All right, sweet. Oh, bi song. Okay, what was the other thing? Connections? Oh, contrast. That was another thing under contrast that I had as a note. A thing that I like as like shorthand is contrasts for like real world things. So like if I wanted to introduce a thing and be like, ooh, you know, I want this place. I gotta think of a place real fast. Here's where they're showing up today. Here's some stuff about it. Using real world contrast is fun to use shorthand. So like if you have here in America, it's a good contrast is like they come across a super like country small town, but the people in it are like very progressive. Like that's a fun contrast where it's like, that's not usually what you're expecting. Just a little twist on something. Hey, now you got a little more interest. So I do enjoy all sorts of contrasting. Got distracted by several things. Apparently DVD leaks just leaked a ton of stuff. Ooh, really? One thing's been officially confirmed. Behavior, Nicolas Cage is a survivor. Get out of here. That's not real. I'm sorry, I have to look this up. Oh my gosh. Nicolas Cage. There's a teaser trailer. Sorry, everybody, we're about to watch this teaser trailer.
There's nothing more powerful than imagination. It can shape the fabric of reality, transforming everything you may think you know.
Oh my gosh. It's really Nicolas Cage. Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, my day just got better. It is already not bad, but wow. Wow. I love it. You put it in Discord? Thank you. I'll watch it again. Which reminds me, I need to watch Renfield. That vampire movie with him. There's also there's an older vampire Nicolas Cage movie. If you've ever seen the meme of him just going like, "Rah!" with vampire teeth. It's from that, where he gets bit by someone and he thinks he's turning into a vampire. It's a really weird movie. I do like it. Also, Moonstruck is like one of my partner's favorite movies. That man is wild in that movie. That movie is bananas. Not in like a, like, oh, all the crazy stuff happens. in like an outlandish sort of way. It is all super mundane, but just incredibly melodramatic. It's wild. Cher's in that movie too. No one came for this, but there it is anyway. All right, cool. Those are the main points. So I have a bunch of like specific points that I'm going to go into specifically for Vline. Also, I hate the name Vline. The more I say it, the more I dislike it. It's just a word I wrote down, and now it's bothering me a lot, and I feel like I need to make up a new word before I move on, because I don't want to keep calling it Vline, and I don't want to keep calling it this place that we're making. So now we're going to quickly talk about how to name something. How do you name things? Sometimes a thing that I like to do is put a dumb word down, like a thing that I know I'm not going to use, but I like the sound of, like sugar rush, and then be like, all right, how can I use the like mouth shapes and sounds of this word or phrase that I like, and twist it enough to be like a new word that sounds good to me. Okay, new suggestion for how to make normal cities interesting, put Nicolas Cage in them. That'd be fun. So kind of like Tim Curry's In a Hurry, where everybody plays a Tim Curry, and I went to a con where someone did a game where everybody played a different Keanu Reeves character. I did not play that game, but I was playing a different game. But one of the games at the con, someone was doing that. I feel like another good one of that would be Nick Cage. Just like everybody plays a different Nicolas Cage character. I've also heard of it for, what's his name? The guy who plays Billy Butcher in The Boys, and is the rider of Rohan in Lord of the Rings, and is the bald guy in Thor. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Hang on. Here, look this up. Fictional character. What's his name? I know he's a fictional character. Who plays him in The Boys? Comic book, Amazon Prime. Yep, The Boys. Aha. Carl Urban. Oh, and now I just see Italian put it down. Thank you. Yeah, Carl Urban. Another one is Carl Urban. Everybody plays a different Carl Urban. Oh, he was in Ghost Ship. I forgot about that. We just watched that movie. He's a fun actor. Oh, shoot. He is McCoy in the new Star Treks. I forgot he was McCoy. Oh, yeah. Johnny Cage? Yeah, he could do it. Sounds dreadful. Oh. It's funny, Discordia, because he's in Dread, right? He plays a judge, one of them Judge Dreads. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Oh, Samby. Thank you for the Bezo bucks. Appreciate you subscribing with the Prime, and that is a help. Thank you. Google Translate is my go-to for names. Trying names for Mimingtown. Look up Rocktown in Armenian, Welsh, Kazakh, etc. I tried not to do that. I feel like it's totally valid. It feels like a cop-out to me. I feel like I didn't do the work when I do that. And I would do stuff a lot faster if I would just do that. Like, I'd be done already. But like my brain goes, no, you didn't make that up. It's kind of like why I like building things out of ideas rather than looking at history and building things off of stuff that's already happened. Like, my mind goes, no, you didn't think of that. That's just Rome with dinosaurs or whatever. Like, I gotta come up with the whole thing on my own. But yeah, absolutely going in. Also, if you run it through several times, like, do the real Dark Souls, there's a mod for Dark Souls 3 where every single bit of text in the entire game is put through a translator into like 7 different languages and then back to English. And then that's what you see. It's wild. It's super hilarious. But doing that, so like run it through like Rocktown, and it's like, all right, what is that in Welsh? What is that in Armenian? What is that in German? What is that in Mandarin? What is that in Japanese? What is that in English? Ah, this word. Rather than just going, oh, it's this in Japanese, so it's gonna be called this. So that's another way you can do it. I like it because they sound like real words, which they are. So that's fair. It's a good way to do it. I do that for character names, get a word association, their personality, and then run it through a language of the culture and tweak it. There is, oh shoot, where is it? A friend of mine, Doug the Dragonborn in the Discord, he made a thing that was a language translator for fake languages. It's like a whole, hang on, I gotta find it because it's actually really good. Was it this one? No. I need to find it. All right, hang on. Let me look it up in the Discord. No, I can't find it. Wait. I found it. Here we go. If you want to do it with fake languages, here's a resource for you. So you could put in Rocktown and then translate it to a bunch of languages that don't really exist, like Goblinoid, and then he actually has a little definition for each language. So like Goblinoid is a mishmash of ancient languages, and the sounds are harsh and don't mesh well. Still, it could be used to make glorious battle hymns or impactful rallying speeches. And you can like Chitrin. Chitrin is filled with glottal stops and silent letters, which can be tricky when reading the script. Hard sounds are mostly clicking and snaps of the mouth region. So it's like gives you a little bit of information of the language itself and like kind of how to, like where it comes from and how to pronounce it. So like skla stick could be how you say that one. And then you can do it like deep speech. Yeah, it's got a thing for that. Edelvish. Ooh boy. And so he has a whole system that this runs through that he made. He worked on this for like 4 years. So if you ever want to do that with fake languages, here's your resource. Oh, and you can also put it in how you want: uppercase, all lowercase, all uppercase, match case, or mocking case, which is my favorite. That he actually made that a thing. It's really funny to me. And he's got a little definition for like who speaks what. So it's a cool resource. That's the link. Enjoy. He worked hard on that. He did work on that for like 4 years. Like off and on. I remember seeing this when it was just a absolutely massive Excel spreadsheet that would pull words. Like each tab was a different language, and like it would pull letters for words and how it pulled them and everything, and it was wild. And it took like 5 minutes to open because it was so big. It's really funny. Excel, my beloved. Yeah. All right, I gotta look through characters' names. Like to say real. Hi, Samby says, I try to remember how many places are called sub-variation of Lake Lake or Hill Hill, because I could stress forever about giving every single place a unique name. Yeah, that was when I've talked to like Jumate and stuff. That's like a running gag. It's like a lot of places in England and stuff are like, "What's this called?" And they'd be like in a native language, they'd be like, "Well, that's a lake." They'd be like, "Ah, we'll call it that word lake, or lake that word." So it's Lake Lake. It's very funny. Also, a place called Iceland and a place called Greenland. Those are real names. If it's Welsh, probably use a lot of consonants. Yeah, all the consonants. You can always swap some letters. Also true. Redfield was okay. Aww. But it drove me crazy that it's set in New Orleans and no one has a New Orleans accent. No way. Several characters with New York accents. Did they accidentally they accidentally say the wrong name? Like, that's wild. How do you not have Nolan's accent? Also, I was watching The Last of Us because I'm, about a year behind the cool stuff. And what's her name from True Blood? Oh crap, what is her name? Sookie's friend, who's the bartender. Shoot, I forget her name, but she's in an episode of The Last of Us because she has a deep, like, Nolan's accent in that show, in The Last of Us. Not The Last of Us, True Blood. Greenland is icy. Iceland is green. The English are not great at names. No. It's like the Los Angeles Angels, i.e. the Angels Angels. Yeah, the Angels Angels. Yep. It's so funny. The Angels Angels. Yeah. I love it. Now you can tell it was shot in New Orleans. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's wild. Why would they... Maybe the casting director got it wrong. He's like, we need New York accents. And they were like, no, New Orleans. And he's like, oh, well, I already hired these people. So that's life. All right, I'm going to use this. Let's do this. You know what? I've mentioned it. Let's go ahead and do it. What is a good thing? What do we have? We have a place, let's say Hot Spring Lake Town. Hot Spring Lake Town. All right, what's that in Elvish? Oh, I got to take it off of mocking text. Rajro Lai Poi in Elvish. What's Draconic? Real chore hearing Mugbrig. Murbrig? Kind of like Murbrig. I imagine that the script was written for New York, and then they got a sweet deal from Louisiana to shoot there, so they switched locations but didn't change anything else. That sounds like an incredibly accurate possibility. Stuff like that totally happens. Where it's like, oh, this is a thing now because we got a sweet deal. New York would charge X amount. Nolans was like, hey, we'll pay you this much to shoot here. Yeah, that's a big thing. I remember North Carolina was trying really hard to do that. Madal Garar Morgo. Kafferlai the Randomish. Free grow resequent. I hi bear ner Naru. And then I can like kind of mush these up any way I want. Kind of like, was it Draconic? Yeah, it was Draconic. I kind of like this one. I feel like I'm a Brea. I just played Parasite Eve, so let's use Brea. What about Brea Murbrig? That would translate to Hot Lake Town, I think. Yeah, Brea Murbrig. Jinx! Yeah, I like Brea Murbrig. Okay. So we're gonna I have it saved as blind, but we're gonna change it. I'll change the file later. Brea Mur. What if we do it like this? And then we have like this is like a Mick. Like it could be like a Mick Donald the farmer. Or Dondalad. Dald. I owe you a soda. All right, I'll go. How do you feel about vanilla Coke? That's all I got. So we do Murbrig as one word. We're gonna go with that. Brea Murbrig. Cool. Hot Lake Town. They have a hot spring. They're near a lake. They're also near the water. Actually, what is water? What if it is water? Thurnich? You? Thurnich you? That's too many words. Popular fast food chain, Briggs. You get that Merflowy. Oh crap! What's a McFlurry? A Merflurry. There we go. It's delicious things. I love a McFlurry. I love whipped up ice cream with candy. So good. All right. So we got our name, Brea Murbrig. Thanks, Doug. What's Draconic for flurry? Let's find out. What is Draconic for flurry? You-boo. Or yo-boo. That's Draconic for flurry. And it feels as if the words are created in the chest and then echo around before emerging from the mouth. The consonants are especially forceful and impactful. Okay, so the B would actually be like the biggest word, so it'd have to be like yo. Yubo doesn't quite flow as well. Yeah. I really love these definitions for the language and the time you put into these. I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, cool resource. Okay. So another thing, that I want specifically. What was I doing? Oh, a big thing I want for this one is a lot of propaganda and rumors. Like, you have a king who has power and is trying to essentially dismantle that power and give it to other people. So, like, the rest of Sodargolm, not a big fan of that. Like, the ruling class up there in the main castle that runs this whole peninsula ain't a big fan of that. They don't like that shit. They're like, hey, this is our power and you're yucking it up for the rest of us. Stop it. So not only do you have people who do think like, oh, well, you know, the ruling class is how it should be done. We're the best in the world, blah, blah, blah. But then you have people that, you know, are actively spreading misinformation and are trying to be like, oh, well, you know, out of all the places in Sodorgum, oh, the whole peninsula, like, yeah, this is the worst. And it's the worst out of all of them because they don't have a strong ruling class. They let all the riffraff make decisions. And it's easy to corral one person and make them, you know, think about everybody and make the right decision. But it's so much harder to make hundreds of people, all with their own agendas and plans, all fighting for a scrap of power that the other ones have, to get them to do the good of the people. Oh, that's so much harder. Like, just a lot of propaganda and rumors and like all that stuff kind of circulating in there, partially internally, and then a lot of it coming from external sources who are trying to make it fail so that they can seize all the power again. So that would be political warfare. I blame the rich people for everything. I don't care if they did it. Yeah. Look, maybe if I became part of the 1%, I would have more sympathy. But yeah, I do feel like you can blame them for everything, and you're not wrong in doing it. Even if it's not their fault, it's probably partially their fault. In some way, they're in the position they're in because someone got screwed over. It's their fault. My general stance of eat the rich just coming out way too strong here. All right. Oh, here's another thing. Oh, wait. I'd like the opportunity to prove the great wealth wouldn't change me. Right? Like, you want, it's like, oh, this is terrible. But if I had that sort of power, oh, I could do that. Yeah. Well, it's funny to me because, like, from my very limited understanding of how the world works in my, you know, mortal time here, is that people look at like situations like that and be like, oh, here's what I would do, but are generally looking at it from like where they are now. And if they were just dropped into that situation, where anytime you have a situation, it's like, but you've built up to that. Like, there's so much like baggage and knowledge and stuff that happened to get to that point that like really changes people, sometimes for good, sometimes not. Like, but to be in whatever position of power or wealth or whatever people have, they haven't had the same experience as a lot of other people, if that makes sense. It's wild to me. If there was more equal share of wealth, I would own different furniture. I would not have stubbed my toe. Every problem can be traced back to the 1%. Yep. That's it. how it works. Okay, so political warfare, that is a thing. Here's a question. Actually, I want to put this because that's not connected. So here's a question when you're making a place, especially if it's, it doesn't matter if this is a normal place or a wild place. What do people generally value? Like, what do people, and this is always, there's going to be people that don't value the thing that most people value or whatever. But, like, what is it that this society puts stock into more than other things? So, like, if it's, capitalistic, okay, we've got money. We've got, concentrations of it. It could be, a power situation where it's like money comes and goes. Power, like reputation, the ability to command, that's what has value. Can be social value, like who do people respect? If you are well respected, you command you command people to do whatever you want. They're like, freaking love this person. They said attack and we did. I don't know, whatever it is. But like, what do people value? So one of the things that I was really thinking about for this place, where are my notes? City definitely feels capitalistic. Fishing, lots of guilds, tourism, hot springs. Could be. Where's my thing? Oh, okay. Another thing that I was thinking about with value that I think would be fun is based more on like status, where you have someone that you want, the like cultural idea being you do not want your name to just be words carved into a tombstone. You want your name to be spoken long after you're dead, hopefully for good reasons. But like there is value, there is longevity, there is goodness in that, and having part of the society work towards like you want, whether it's with your family or you were famous or you did something really cool and people were like, oh yeah, that's the Jeff Bridge. He made that bridge. It was a new design. Held up so long. It's pretty cool. That's Jeff Bridge. Isn't there an actor named Jeff Bridges? So it's like, what is it that generally people value? And then once you know what people generally value, you can play with that to say, okay, well, not everybody's going to agree on what that means or that they want the same thing. So it's like, oh, okay. In America, you want like a big drawing point is like you have a great credit score. Okay. Does that need to be everybody's goal? No. You could have some people that strive for a great credit score, are very happy about it. You have people who strive for a great credit score, but think it's a stupid idea to have a credit score. You could have people that are like, damn the system. I'm never taking out a loan. I'm keeping my money. Like you can play around with it once you understand which directions you want to go. I was just typing the Jeff Bridges joke. I didn't even have a joke, though. I just was like, isn't that an actor? I just said bridge and then was like, wait a second. If I was smarter, that could have been a joke. Because then it could have been like Jeff built several bridges and then those would be Jeff Bridges. That would be the joke. I didn't think about it, though. Well, now we get no joke. Well, I hope you're happy. Nobody gets a joke. Oh, another thing. Names. How many bridges has Jeff Bridges built? 0. No respect for another thing is like, okay, how are names in this culture picked? Like my thought being if you have something that values like uniqueness, then you wouldn't have a lot of repeat names. Like, you're not gonna meet the freaking 8,000 Matthews that you're gonna meet in wherever you go, America, or Johns or whatever. And that names are more distinct, except for, as the note I have from later, like names that were family names before the big Sotorgum takeover. So like at some point in the past, they were an independent place, and then Sotorgum was like, hey, why don't we just like, we're rich, we want to own this whole place, how about we just buy you? And then they were like, okay. And then they moved from like small town to bigger site of industry and hot springs and lots of guilds. Again, another reason for that political like tension of some people being like, yeah, you remember what this place was before Sotorgum? Like, it sucked. It was a little podunk nothing town, and now we have all this because of them. And then people use that argument for like, this is why we should have a king. Official petition for there to be an elderly farmer outside city limits named Jeff Murbreg, who can say old Murbreg at a farm. All right, where do we have farmlands? Do we draw those on here? No, I don't have a farm on here. What did I do with farm? There's supposed to be farms. They didn't make it onto the map. Huh. Forgot to do that. Whoops. All right. Just a quick note here. Jeff Murbreg has a farm. There we go. Officially noted. You ate all the farms? Oh my gosh. Can't do anything on stream with you here. So names, how they name. You know, tasty carrots are good. Also, boiled carrots, awesome. I like raw carrots too, but man, boiled carrots make no sense to me. They get so dang sweet. Like, you just cook them up and suddenly they're very sweet. What? How's that work? You just boil them in water, but they're so sweet. Wish my local grocery still sold fresh carrots. Solf. Like they just pulled them out of the ground, or like you can't even like get them. Like they only come in cans. So you say they don't sell fresh carrots. It makes me think of like they're literally only in cans. Like you cannot get a bag of carrots. Oh, I like this jam. Oh, that was it. Small town. This is actually, no, I was just talking about small town that was struggling. We're going to say bought by Sotor. Gum. Thrived after. You can only get carrots in like 2-pound plastic bags as opposed to just them being with the produce. Oh. The ones in the plastic bags are always slimy. Gross. That's weird. Those free carrots. That's wild. I'm trying to think if I've lived a place. A couple of small towns that didn't have fresh carrots. I feel like all the other places I've had, like, yeah, they've had those like just unbagged out there carrots. Something not always at like the normal like where you can go and get pasta and pasta sauce grocery stores, but there's always a grocery store like an H Mart or something that has it's like really good selection of like produce. They used to have a takeaway. That's freaking sad. Do they sell fresh foods? That's a good thing. Think if you wanted to do a little world building on your town, you gotta ask, do they sell fresh foods? Are their carrots a little slimy? Are there bagged carrots weirdly slimy? That's world building, baby. That's how you do it. Oh. What was it? Bragg. So one of the things that Sotorcom does is like, it's a big inventor place. They have just ass loads of money and resources, and they are kind of wasteful, but they are always moving forward. Like, they're very industrious. They're like, oh, well, sure, we made the greatest, whatever, but like, we can make a better one now because we know how we made the old one. So they're just like always trying to move forward and push new things. So one of the things that they would do is they would outsource a lot of they're like, oh, we need a steam engine that has these dimensions. And then we go, okay, well, let's go to, let's send a message to Brea Murbreg, get the blacksmith guild, be like, hey, here are our dimensions, or send a person over, and they're like, hey, here's the blueprint of what we need. How would you build this? And so like they get a lot of work coming in from them for new stuff that they're making. Does plastic exist in this world? No. The bagged carrots are they're in burlap sacks. That's the bag. It's burlap. What do you put carrots? Is it burlap's like for potatoes and onions, right? I guess you could put anything in it. It's just like super cheap fabric, like super cheap breathable fabric. All right, I am reminded of why I like this lo-fi station. It actually is pretty good. What else do I have? Oh. Design and build stuff. Lots of guilds and labor union. All right, that was the thing that I wanted to put. Put yourself in a burlap sack. Treat yourself. This is the other thing. So you've got this. This was. I really like the phrase that Jack uses when talking about like world building, which is if that, then what. So like when I asked him and I was like, hey, can I be a mushroom person? Is that a cool thing that can exist in your world? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. And then he ran with that and was like, well, if that, then what? If there are mushroom people, then there could be other flower people. And that's how like I found out that's how the whole thing with the like Black-Eyed Susans and all of the like flora folk came up from. Was like, well, if that if there's a mushroom person, there'd be a bunch of other people like that. So like, here's some flowered people, here's some, and then that, which then led to if that, then what, where he's like, well, how would flower people reproduce? And he's like, oh, well, probably a bee person. And that's why there's a threesome with a bee. It's like stuff like that where it's like, you know, you build on it. So if you have Sotor Golem sending their stuff, outsourcing a bunch of work here to like make stuff, and you have like big things, then you're gonna have a lot of trade back and forth. So my thought being, another thing that they would have here is a lot of like beasts of burden farms. So like horse farms. Like you gotta drag all this stuff around. So you get some horses to do that. But we're in a freaking fantasy world. So like, why just have horses? Why not have, oh, there's also those chocobos. I don't remember if that's how you spell chocobos. Also, that's copyrighted. I'll use a different word. But like, you know, like a big bird that can do the thing. And it's like, oh, okay, well, what if like they're in competition with each other? Well, if it's like the horse farmers and the chocobo farmers and the like, I don't know, anaconda farmers are all trying to get like, no, our animal is the best for hauling stuff. And like trying to get it both for there and anywhere else in the world where it's like, oh, are you still using horses to drag your carts? Anacondas are the way to go. Like, here's why they're the best. Here's why the chocobos are the best. Like, so having that be a thing of like a bunch of farms that all kind of compete for that space. The anacondas only push baker's carts. The anacondas don't want none unless you got buns, hun. Exactly. That's very true. Oh, that's super funny. Hang on. Baker cart pulled by anaconda. Giant tortoise transport for those on a budget. Yeah. Slow and steady. I like the idea. Hang on. Let's put... What about... Also, turtles can actually run. But I think they... I mean, they don't have, like, the greatest stamina. But it's like... Where it's like lizards. That was the one thing when I was reading up about lizards to write about lizard folk. Where they have... Shoot, it has a name. There's a specific name, and I have to look it up. But it's like... It's called like the something principle or the something effect. The way lizards move, where it's like one leg forward and then like their back leg goes the other way and they like twist their body when they run. It makes it hard for them to keep running because it's basically a movement, and the way it like jostles their organs and how they like accordion their body and they move. It's great for sprinting, but it's not good for sustained running. So they'll like have like bursts of movement and then stop. Basically just get winded. Giant giant turtles or tortoises. I like the idea of like turtles bred for pulling carts, so maybe they're not quite as hard. Turtles can run, they keep it quiet. They can. Not, I mean, they're so heavy and they don't have like they can't run like a freaking crocodile can run. Crocodiles can run like 30 miles an hour or something in a straight line. Apparently they're really bad at zigzagging, so I've heard. I don't know if that's true. But yeah, they can move. Like, you get a turtle excited, it'll, for a short period of time, it'll put out a decent amount of movement for a turtle. They're not going to outrun a dog, but like, compared to their normal speed, they can hoof it. They don't have hoofs, but you know what I mean. So I really like the idea of giant turtles that have been specifically bred to move faster. So like maybe they have less of a like they have a softer shell underneath and like more leg room. And like they're really bad at running, but they're good at just sustaining a speed for super long times. And they still have a build that can pull all that shell weight, but then their shells have decreased over time. But that bulk is still there, so they're able to pull carts. They can probably outrun my dog. What kind of dog is it? My mental image is just a turtle sprinting on its back legs, and I'm not going to Google to correct myself. No, that's it. Just freaking. That's how they run, actually. Don't even bother Googling it. That's exactly how they run. They just like, they put their tail behind them to kind of like as a wheelie bar so they don't flip on their backs. And they just book it. Just as long as they don't use wild magic. Is that an Aaron Mooney joke? No relation. Good at long distance walking. I love the idea of a giant tortoise. She's a lazy doofus. Aw, she doesn't really want to run. She just sometimes glumps. If she gets excited enough. Aw, it's adorable. Less shell, full hearts. Hey, true Mandalorian. How are you doing? Yep, those turtles, they got full hearts. Maybe that's why the spontaneous combustion happened. Too much energy built up from Naruto sprinting everywhere. Yep. Doing all right for the day. Hey, Mouse Catcher, how are you doing? Well, I'm glad you're doing all right for the day, True Mandalorian. I hope this just makes your day all the more all right. We're talking about the place we named Brea Murbrig and how it's a fairly normal town, but how to make that interesting. What's one way to make that interesting? Well, it's a baker's cart pulled by an anaconda. But it'll only pull the baker's cart because the anaconda don't want none unless you got buns. Hun. There you go. I'm tired. Are you ready for the Greek test tonight? Are you gonna ace it, Mouse Catcher? Indeed it does. Aw, thanks, Trumando. Okay, it's Naruto or Naruto. I just call it Shippuden because that's funny to me. I've always heard it as Naruto, but it all kind of blends together. But it's all Shippuden to me. There's like Shippuden is the show, and then there's the main character Shippuden, and then there's his friend Shippuden, and then his other friend Shippuden. And like they learn how to Shippuden, so they are in fact Shippuden. Like that's just the whole show. Like any noun in that show is Shippuden. That just makes me think about the Shippupi from the Music Man. I don't know what the Shippupi is. Feeling this beat. Favorite part is when Itachi Shippudens into a cloud of crows. I don't know who this Itachi is, but it's pretty cool that they could just Shippuden into a cloud of crows. Say in Discord, thanks. Japanese likes for syllables to start with a consonant, so likely Naruto. I believe Crawdad. Crawdad has absolutely bamboozled me with fake facts because he always speaks. A, Crawdad is smart and knows a bunch of stuff. And B, he always says it with such like just casual authority. Like just, oh yeah, well, you know, the ancient Aztecs did this because blah, 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 blah. And just such a deep wealth of base knowledge that he just like will casually drop that he has absolutely bold-faced lied to me. And I ate it hook, line, and sinker, and then he laughed at me. He's done that a few times. But it is funny. That one happens to be true as far as I know. Itachi is the best character. A living, breathing Deus Ex Machina. Oh. If it's happening, he planned for it. If he didn't plan for it, the plan for something else that just so happens to work in this scenario, and he can explode into crows at will. Wow. That's a wild Shippuden power. Deus Ex Machina, if you could have one superpower, pretty good one, to be honest. Typically English does too, but Japanese is more rigid with the no coda rule. That's why ice cream is pronounced like I say u krimu. I say u krimu. I don't know if that's true, but I'm inclined to believe you. All right. What time is it? Okay, we've got like 20 minutes left. What are the other things? Tradesfolk. Guilds. There's a Japanese writing system specific for loan words. That's ice cream, I think. Oh. Exploding at will isn't an amazing power. I could explode at will. Only once, though. Classic Looney Tunes gag. Only once, though. That always bothered me when I watched that as a kid. And they'd be like, wow, what a great trick. It's like, but I can only do it once. It's like, well, then why'd you do it? Like, what? It's like doing it for like a talent agency or like a talent show or something. It's like just to prove that they can, and then they can't do it again. But they don't even do it for the thing. They just do it for like the person who's can let them in to do. It was some weird thing like that. It bothered me when I was a kid. I was like, that's stupid, Daffy. Why are you doing this? Truth was, I was stupid because I was a child, and I didn't get the joke. Yeah, let's see. Chocobo. Failed snakes. Farms. Oh, yeah, farms. That's probably a thing they would have. Farms. Oh, another fun thing is like, we were talking about like things that are more not universal because not everybody agrees with them, but like things that are, you know, big to a lot of people in this culture. So like names, how does naming work? Like, does everyone in America agree on how naming works? No. Does the majority of America follow some sort of guideline for names? Yes. Generally 3 names. Surname is from the father. We can name people Matthew, but you wouldn't name I don't know. I mean, you can name anything, but like a lot of times, like, but these are the acceptable names. Like, even if we don't have like it's against the law, we do have our cultural standards. So, a thing that I think is interesting for making cultures is, what do we all agree on? What are things that, as a big whole, people are cool with, or that we all pretty much agree with? And a thing that I thought when I looked at the news and saw like some sort of ceremony happening somewhere, and I was like, it'd be fun. A culture that's not big on ceremonies. All got shit to do. Ain't wasting time on that. And you'd be like, except funerals. Big celebrations. Saying of name. Remembering. So like in this, like, hey, the exception to this rule, funerals. That's when we all drop what we're doing and go do a thing. It's like, if you're getting married, hey, they might come, they might not. If it's your birthday, they might come, they might not. Like, oh, are you a war hero? That's cool. Good job. All right, we're moving on. Like, that these big displays of things aren't really valued. All right, let me check up on this. But you wouldn't name someone Wetham, almost Matthew backwards. Yeah, Wetham? Wetham? Yeah. Generally not. With our accented symbols, though, we'll say things like Minnesota or Mississippi or dinosaur. Yeah. We do all of those things. And you could say Minnesota, or you could say Minnesota, depending on your accent. Real world naming has the most confusing rules. Like, why is it fine to name your child Hunter, but not acceptable to name them Gatherer? Yeah. Sambai, yeah, it's exactly like that. Like, we have weird rules. Also, you can name your kid William, and people will call them Bill. What the fuck? Bill? Where did the B come from? Who knows? It's stuff like that. It's like, why do we do this? Also, we are big on biblical names, but only very specific biblical names, like Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Job, Ruth. Those are fine. Samson? No. Not a lot of people named Samson. Jesus? No, not in America. Like, not a lot of Jesus. Jesus, that's a name. What's the word? Biblical names. Bathsheba? Not a lot of those. Not many Habakkuk's. Yeah, not many Habakkuk's running around. Paul's, though? That's a name. Thomas? Not a lot of Judas's, but like, that's fair. That one I understand. So yeah, there's like a lot of those names that we like, again, America is like, yeah, these are the fine biblical names. David, Jesse, also in the Bible. Not many Solomons either. Yeah. Solomon was the name I was trying to think of, and then I thought Samson, and I was like, well, that's also a biblical name. Oh, Noah, that's another acceptable one. Wait, if there is no ceremony, does that mean no celebration of any kind? Kind of like Jehovah's Witnesses don't do. That's Jehovah's Witnesses. That's Jehovah's Witnesses. Don't do holidays. I would say they would do holidays, but it's not like it's like a gathering, but it's not a ceremony. So gathering is cool. Like, oh, we're all gonna get together and have food, but it's a ceremony where it's like, oh, we're all gonna get together and like watch the queen get inaugurated or whatever. It's like, so like the gatherings, yes. Ceremonies, no. Actually, I'm gonna put that gatherings, yes. So like the display, like, oh, and I will award you with the Lifetime Achievement Award, and we will stand in front of this, and we'll have people talk, and then I will put this sash on you that says good job or whatever, or like graduation ceremony. Like, oh, we all graduated. Good job. We made it through college. Now we're going to fill an auditorium and people are going to speak and we're going to come up one by one. It's like, get out of here with that. Ain't nobody sitting around for that hoopla. So, like, culturally, that's just something that's, like, generally not looked at as worth your time. Would some people do it? Sure. Were all the kids named Metatron? That's great. Real shame. Judas is a cool name. Judas is a cool name. Jehovah's Witnesses is the Sephiroth cult. Yeah. Judas, good name. Jezebel, also a good name. What was the Samson lady? Delilah, also a cool name. Not very often. Also because a lot of those names are like the haha, we did the bad thing. We're the villains of the story. Comedy names are totally fair too. I know a guy named Chris Peacock, which is unfortunate when say out loud. Chris Peacock? That's funny. I love Chris. Any name with Chris and then P is really funny to me. Chris Peacock. That's great. Imagine if you were named Solomon. You get an A on your test. You didn't get an A on your test or got one fact wrong. You'd never hear the end of it. Be like, oh, where's the wisdom of Solomon, huh? You'd be like, doggone. It's like being like if someone named you Samson and you're not the strongest person in the room. Or you're not, if you're just like not built like a doggone fridge. Yeah, you wouldn't hear the end of it. Graduation ceremonies we can get rid of. Dear God, they suck. Yeah, they're awful. The only reason I went to my college graduation is because I was filming it for the school. It's the only reason I went. Oh, terrible. I do not like those ceremonies. Jesse, I would be very happy if you gave me a sash that said good job. That's funny. All right, if we ever meet, I'll try to remember to bring a sash that says good job, and I will make a to-do of it, and I will put it on you. We'll make a whole ceremony out of it. I hear Delilah lives in New York now. Is that song, Hey There, Delilah? Does she move to New York? I don't know any of the words to that song other than Hey There, Delilah. And then it goes, and that's all I know. Because, one, I didn't really like that song. but 2, I have really bad hearing, so it's just generally hard for me to understand what people are saying during music times. And like, I have no idea what the lyrics. I always think it's something about making biscuits, and I know it's not. Something like, "Well, I'll be coming home for Christmas, and we'll be making biscuits." It's like, that's not the lyrics, but that's what I hear. Gaylord's male name. Yeah, not super common. In Crystal City, there is the hotel/convention center, the Gaylord. Awesome place. A lot of good cons there. Yeah, not a common name, though. Is it a biblical name? It could be. I don't know. At times I envy your low threshold for comedy. Wow. I just got damned by faint praise right there by Discordia. And sometimes my threshold for comedy is quite low. That's fair. My friend's dog is named Solomon. He is a wise boy. Aw, that's cute. I wish to bring back classic Greek name Testicles. Yep. Testicles and Bophides. Those are names. I can't wait. Yay. Not the Tom Jones, no? About killing someone? Oh man, I'm absolutely lost on what that's supposed to be connected to. The words immediately following, "Hey there, Delilah, what's it like in New York City?" Oh, okay. I'm gonna take your word for that. Also, don't like the song. Found it very annoying. And 2 gets stuck in your head and it makes it more annoying. Oh yeah, it's absolutely catchy. It is good in the sense that like it is very, very catchy. It's in my head. That song came out like freaking 15, 20 years ago or whatever. And like, it's still in there. There are songs that I liked that I don't remember how they go. That one I remember. Also, Out of Control by Hoobastank. That's just rent-free in my head all the time. I don't even like that song. It's in there. The backhanded compliment of the day award goes to Discordia. Yay. All right, it's 2:00, so this is our wrap up. What else did I have? What do we all agree on? No big ceremonies. Oh, appearance. This is a thing that I like doing. I'll say this quickly before we wrap up. A big thing is appearances. So I like to have, because, I'm playing RPGs. I generally play with theater of the mind. I don't like making maps. So like I like having things to describe to the players on what it looks like. And I like having some specific elements for them to think about and graft onto and be like, oh, this place like this. So, like downspout made out of multiple kinds of material, no more than, one wall is made out of the same material in every building. Lots of like ramshackled together stuff, very precarious. Having was it Dickin' Around Town, where it's like everything is kind of built in and around trees because they just built everything up in a forest when they did not have supplies. A thing that I thought would be interesting for this, if you have a bunch of like tradesmen and guild people and stuff like that, where it's like everything is oddly uniform, where it's like the architecture guild is responsible for building everything. So everything from they don't have office buildings here, but like your office buildings to your restaurants to your homes to your grain silos would have an odd amount of uniformity. Like they all use the same round window design. There might be, they all have like the same basic structures that change only slightly. And you really only see changes that are major when you compare something that was just built to something built like 10 years before it. and then having like, you know, there's like some experimenting and like, oh, we're going to try a new material. Okay, well, this building's a little bit different. It's made out of like, you know, cement rather than brick, but structure is still similar. It's got those round windows, kind of stuff like that. And I wanted to play with that. I got to think of some more like exact things to have them be able to see with their mind's eye of what it looks like. But I feel like that sort of thing helps a lot with them being able to picture it. Sorry I didn't contribute much to the actual topic today. Thanks for streaming. Oh, no, you're awesome, Deebs. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for coming. It's a good stream for just talking nonsense. Yeah, talking nonsense. Hopefully some good game stuff, too. But, hey, a lot of nonsense be talked. How to make your normal towns interesting. Make every building uniform. In this particular town, yes. Not in all the other towns. But again, that's one thing is like that sets it apart from those other towns is that everything does have a unparalleled amount of uniformity. That is something that's different. Also, I think a huge thing in making world building in general is to never lean on any one thing too hard, or expect like a certain reaction, like all the buildings are uniformed, and like expect the players to go ooh, or like there's a lot of political intrigue here. Two people want the same crown. This is when you react, player. Like, don't, because they might not care. The idea is to have enough stuff going that like they can latch onto something, and then you know enough about it to unfold that further. Not just be like, oh man. Because if you spend all your time making like, oh, here are the 5 people fighting for the crown, and then I come in with I come in with a character that's like, well, we should dismantle the monarchy. Like, my character doesn't care who, like, all this political intrigue you've developed. They're going to be like, all of them should become paupers and see what it's like to live in the real world. I don't care about their plights. So, like, have that room to introduce things and then move on from them if nobody finds it interesting. And if they do find it interesting, expand on it. Never lean too heavily on one thing. Besmirch says, hey there, Delilah is actually based on the lead singer trying to get a date with the titular college student who moved to New York from Chicago. No word on whether or not he was successful. Who knows? I guess you could ask. Every single building was identical. That would certainly make it interesting to me as a player. Cool. One of those things like describing the material a door is made out of, suddenly that door is very interesting. Yeah, like, you don't need to spend freaking 20 minutes on it, but yeah. Why is the door made of X? This door is made of, it's like you've seen enough doors of different material that you are now noticing the doors are made of different stuff here. Why? And then maybe it's, well, the doors signify what kind of business this is. Like, oh, maybe it's because, you don't have signs, or you don't want to require people to, like, understand something by reading it. So all of the places of business that do X use dark wood doors, where all the places that do Y use, like, light-colored bamboo, or all the places that do this use freaking iron doors. It's a heavy door. Or why do you tell me that? Deep says, or the why do you tell me that? What are you not telling me about the door is a trap? Yes, that's also a great way to kind of plant a little seed of intrigue. It's like, just tell them a little detail. And it's like, why did I notice that? Like, why did you tell me that? It's a fun trick to play. Sometimes it matters. Sometimes it doesn't. That's what makes it the best. So you can surprise people with... Sometimes it does matter. All right. Thanks, everybody. We're going to raid somebody. Will the raid work? Probably not, but we're going to try. Pastel is on and is chatting. Black Rose Burning is playing music, and Valkyrie is playing Mage Seeker. I didn't like Mage Seeker. I didn't think it was very good. I did a review of it. Not my jam. I think it's fun rolling randomly or asking for random stats just to make players nervous. Oh, absolutely. I love doing that. I'll be like, what's your, I'll just ask that and be like, what's your bonus? So like, hearing. They'll be like, oh no, I got pretty good hearing. It's like a 2. It's like, oh, okay. Good to know. Like, keep moving. Like, yeah. Just be like, hey, quick, roll me a blank. And then they roll it and you're like, all right. It's good stuff. I love it. Hey, thank you, Besmirch. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming along and building Brea Murbreg with us. Real-world accessibility for times of the past and not everyone could read are super fascinating. Like every tube station in London has a unique tile pattern because people couldn't read the station names. Fascinating. Yeah, that I do think is very, very cool. Where you can be like, ooh, why is it this way? That's very neat. Thanks for the stream. You're very welcome. Thank you. And thanks for following along and the Bezo bucks. All right, I hit raid. It shows that some people are ready to raid. So it might actually work this time. It does not always work. In fact, it's been failing more than it's been succeeding lately. So we're gonna try it. Looks like it's working. Okay, I'm gonna put this up. If it doesn't work for anyone, for manual raid if doesn't work. All right, there we go. That's the link. All right, well, I'm glad it's working for you two. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to hit the raid button, and we're going to raid. And if it doesn't raid for some reason, that's like... Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a good day. I might see you at Get Jesse the Greek tonight on Escapist. If not, enjoy whatever it is you are doing. But also study your Greek. I studied mine. I might actually remember. We'll find out. Bye.